welcome you all and our guests to our Education Day. And if you notice on the program, we have speeches by the CEO, our own chair, our commissioner and of cooperatives, and the representation of director's office. And then we'll launch our strategic plan, which this board is committed to and working towards meeting the targets that we've set there. That strategic plan is not only being launched just for the board, it's a document we want you members to even have, and we'll arrange how you get that document and hold us to account when those targets are not being met, and we can have discussions on how even to realize better results, even over and above the targets set in there.
It's a proud moment for this organization today again to assemble here for this annual event. As you are aware that this is one of the cardinal principles of the cooperative. We have principle number 5, which talks of education, training to the members, to the board, to the staff, and all this so that we walk on the same journey together. Every day we interact. When you come for services, patronizing the products, you take loan. So we started this journey of trying to empower our members by bringing on board the best experts in town who are able to come and educate our members on how they are going to invest their monies.
It is my pleasure to welcome you to this annual event in our calendar, where we exchange ideas and get empowered with knowledge that is critical for the effective management of our daily lives and of our Unsacco. This year's event is particularly important as we will be celebrating Unsacco's 40th anniversary, as well as unveiling the 2015-2017 strategic plan. Honorable members, it has been our tradition to invite guest speakers with expertise and vast experience to provide our membership with a clear understanding on current business challenges and opportunities. This knowledge not only grows Unsacco business, but also improves our socioeconomic status and that of the community around us. Today, we have renowned speakers who will share with us ideas and experiences on emerging revenue streams for SACCOs, personal financial management, and entrepreneurship ideas and decisions. Guest of honor, sir, the Unsacco has undergone a tremendous growth and change since its formation in 1975. The dynamic changes in the operating environment, as well as in members' evolving needs, demand a continuous review of our business strategies. The board and management have developed another 3-year strategic plan for the period 2015 to 2017, which will be unveiled today. This plan has 3 main strategic themes. 1, membership growth and retention. 2, business growth and operational excellence. 3, corporate governance and compliance.
As Nairobi County, we have about 2,000 cooperatives, most of which are SACCOs, like the one we are having today. We appreciate this forum. I do not call it an education forum, but I call it information sharing. Because even as board members, you need to learn from your members where you have gaps so that you can work on the same. A lot of money has been mobilized. As Nairobi County, we have mobilized over 150 billion. And without your savings, we would not be there. We also appreciate that the average savings in Unsacco is relatively good enough, although the sky is the limit. We are also proud to be associated with the highest saver coming from this society.
The CEO did mention about the cooperative principles. And I said the 5th one is on education, training, and information. The same principles talk about ethics and ethical values. And I want to specifically mention the last ethical value, caring or concerned for each other. We don't want confusion in the cooperative movement. We want a movement that if I come to you, you look at me as a member like yourself and you assist me. When you come to me, I look at yourself as my colleague and we talk. That way, then we have a strong cooperative that is growing. Then we also want to see that by having a strategic plan, you are improving your business growth and enhancing your operational excellence.
We are also celebrating our 40 years up and above unveiling our strategic plan. We have a little show for that so that we represent Unsacco in the various forms. Michael represents Unsacco at 10 years. That is Assumpta, one of us, representing Unsacco at 30 years old. That is between 1995 and 2005. And now we have Lucy, the face of Unsacco today, at 40 years old, where we are currently at 4,800 members with an asset base of 9.36 billion, members' deposits at 7.05 billion, and several trophies. We need to give ourselves a clap. Now we have Lucy to hand over this torch to the CEO, Mr. Clement Tongi, who will in turn hand it to the chairman to hand it over to the chief guest. That is Clement, that is bearing the torch at 40 years. Clement is handing it over to our chairman, Samuel Olago, the Unsacco the way we are today. And finally, the chairman handing over to our chief guest, Dr. Jeremiah Nyatichi.
Cusco is basically the union of SACCOs in this country, formed in 1973, with the chief objective of advocacy on behalf of SACCOs. But over time, we have evolved to include advocacy products within our portfolios. The Kenyan SACCOs rank #1 in Africa and #7 in the world. On 2 different occasions in 2013 and 2015, we were given an award for being the fastest growing SACCO sector worldwide. Now that's a great achievement, but we cannot have such kind of achievements if we don't have support of institutions like Unsacco. So we really appreciate the partnership and the business that we have together. The emerging revenue streams for SACCOs. As an intro, I would say that if you look at the macroeconomic environment where SACCOs operate, then we will appreciate the kind of competition that we face as we try to deliver the products that we have for our members. And this environment includes the mainstream competitors, which are financial institutions, with some of the best tweaked products that we can talk about, including hawking loans in the streets. So if we look at that and compare with the speed at which we innovate our products in SACCOs, then you will realize that we are a bit slow. And that sluggish adaptability denies us quite a bit of revenues. There are several opportunities that exist for financial services providers in this country, and SACCOs are not excluded in that context. But if we look at the issue of adaptability to innovation, then we are slow as SACCOs. The product portfolio, the product range that we have and offer to our members, in general terms, is not as wide as we would want them to be. And therefore, we need to improve on our distribution channels, the use of POSs, the use of debit cards, the use of credit cards would actually create new revenue streams for the SACCOs that we have within the country. But we also have partnerships. Quite a number of SACCOs in this country have partnered with the mainstream financial institutions like banks to issue credit cards, to issue checkbooks, and also ATM services. You've seen situations where some SACCOs have partnered with Cooperative Bank to be enjoined in the SACCO link. We've also seen situations where Family Bank has also partnered, ABC Bank has partnered with some SACCOs to issue. All these are meant to improve the outreach to our members through the services that we deliver. Now, the element of innovation, the product range. If we still insist on delivering the traditional products, then we are leaving out certain revenue streams. For example, revenue streams that come with mobile telephony, money transfer systems, the POSs, the credit cards. If demand for loans is still in existence, but the loaning capacity is low, what you need to do is to increase the product range. You have the demand, but you do not have the capacity. You can increase the product range by diversifying into different product portfolios. You can also save money in the mainstream financial institutions, and in this situation, you will still be guaranteed some return. But how do you rope in members to accept your idea? One of the ways you can do this is basically to train the members. Number two is to ensure that your brand visibility is prominent, the brand trust. And in terms of governance, the board members must also be people of good corporate governance. For members, the general membership to buy into this kind of investments. We also have other revenue sources like the inter-SACCO borrowing, which is highlighted in Section 33 of the SACCO Act as well. If there are SACCOs which are credible, then you can also lend to those SACCOs at an appropriate interest rate. That is also allowed and would also act as a source of revenue to the institution.
Wealth is really what is going to work for you when you're not working. The second one is I'll ask for a salary advance just this once. Yeah, and we do this, it could be an actual salary advance, it could be the loans we take from the SACCO for personal consumption, it could be the school fees loans we take, it could be credit card debt. I've just lumped them all under advance. But these kinds of debt are very detrimental when we talk about financial well-being. While in wealth creation, we ask you to do this. As you earn more, invest more. So money, the way you think about money changes. Your instinct is to now increase your assets, the assets that will fund your lifestyle. Your lifestyle can be very modest, but it has the flexibility to grow if you choose it to grow because it's not dependent on just you working. You understand the value of time. You understand when you leave this gate at 4, 5 o'clock, there's still another 5 hours of productive time that you can use, yeah, to do something. And your spending is driven by personal values and choices. If you do want to experience buying the Range Rover in your lifetime, do it. If you're doing it because of other people, that is what you should be careful about. So planning your money well, personal financial planning is not about telling you not to enjoy life, but it's just to make sure, are you doing truly the things that on your deathbed you will be happy you did, or are you just wasting time living a life for other people? And I'll start us off with our expenses. Can we really afford the life that we are living? So, we work January to December. We may have good lives that we enjoy, but let's really ask ourselves who we are working for.
Why are financial goals so important? And it's really because of one thing, that is because we want to live intentionally. It's not about living a haphazard life, especially to do with your money. It's not about living a haphazard and unplanned life. It's about living intentionally. It's about knowing that the day that I am no longer with the UN, this is what will happen. The day that I want to go on that holiday or the day that I retire, this is what will happen. Financial goals are very, very important because they tell us or they help us to arrange our lives beyond our working days. Step number 2, by when do you want it? Remember, A financial goal without a number is a slogan. So put the number of years or months or weeks. By when do you want to achieve? By when do you want it? And the next step, how much does it cost? How much does that dream of yours cost? How much does it cost? Is it a holiday to Dubai that will cost you 100,000? Is it a trip around the world that will cost you 2 million? Is it a business that will cost you 20 million? Write the number down. In terms of financial planning, it's extremely important to be as specific as possible. And finally, in terms of creating a financial goal, step number 4, how much do you have right now towards that goal? How much do you have? Is it 10 shillings? Is it 10 million shillings? Is it 0? This gives you a good point of reference. This is where I am starting, and this is where I am going to build myself towards. Sometimes even when you have 0, then the next question becomes, what do I have right now that will allow me to start moving towards my dream? Is it my skills? Is it my expertise? Is it the fact that I can talk to people? Is it that the fact I can sing, I can bake, The question to you is, what do you have right now? And that's not always a financial question. How much should we be saving? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100% of income. At Centonomy, we say that your savings should not be limited to any strict percentages. It should be limited by what you want to achieve in your life. Is it to see your children graduate? Is it a happy retirement? Is it to travel around the world, to open a business, or simply to enjoy time with your family? Calculate how much this is going to cost, and then work backwards and say, okay, then today, how much do I need to set aside? So when you're thinking about savings and investment, you're not thinking about just today. You're also thinking at that time. If it's kids, what will school fees be at that time when they are going? If it is my retirement, how much will it be then? If it is my lifestyle, what I'm used to, how much will it be then? That is a number that you should always have in your mind. This is why the central bank and the government are constantly releasing numbers on inflation so that you are aware of this. Save first, spend what is left. This is because your life, whatever your income is, your life always tends to fit into it, isn't it? You maneuver around. For example, if you're earning 200,000 and all of a sudden you're earning 150, your life kind of fits into 150, isn't it? So this is why we advise, save first and then spend what is left. Certainty and safety cost money. You always trade safety and comfort for profit. And that's why many people have a difficulty in growing, because they want to keep whatever they already have safe. But we must start to understand that it's about getting comfortable with uncertainty and ambiguity. So start that farm that you've been wanting. Buy that piece of land. Buy those shares, because this is where your wealth is coming from. That risk. Cash will be on the lower end of risk. If you put 1,000 shillings in your bank account, in the evening it will still be 1,000 shillings. The risk is very low, but the return is also very low. So try and work yourself up. Try and work yourself up this scale. Try and engage in a bit of risk so that you start accessing higher and higher profits. If you're going to go and take a loan from your SACCO, make sure that you're putting it in an investment.
Transition, as you'll see in your notes later, is the process of moving from one set of circumstances to another. And the issues of concern are the emotions that one has to go through when they are transitioning. In the first box, your parents were in control. In the fourth box, they let you loose. And in that box, you are responsible for making decisions. Decisions about employment, which is number 1 up there. Entrepreneurship should be one of the choices that you make at that box. When you arrive at block number 10, it is the end of the hard-working journey. You have either made it or you have not made it. You will live by the consequences of the boxes behind you. Block 4 is where we begin to mess, or where we begin to mend fences. Block 4 is when we have the responsibility to take decisions and money is arriving in our accounts with which we have power over to dispense. In accounting, they say appropriate. Appropriation means you have the money, you can now use it the way you desire. You need to start with the second item called visionary, developing a picture of what you want, and then developing a character by the day to create it. If you want to do a financial plan, wherever you are, have number 10 in clear sight. Be very clear what you want to see yourself in number 10. Is the place where the difference shall be told. It shall not be how many children you took to school in London or not. It shall be measured by the quality of life you are able to live when you are no longer able to walk. That is a graph of your career life. By the choices you make, either there'll be progress upwards or progress downwards. The government works in the middle.
I want to thank our Heavenly God for giving us the opportunity to be here today and to give us a peaceful engagement. Thank you.